So yesterday we completed the inheritance in the Hibernate. So today we'll discuss about the HQL, Hibernate query language. So Hibernate is having its own query language that is called HQL. Okay. So what is the purpose of the HQL and what are the operations we can do by using the HQL? I will explain. Okay. So what is the thing we'll discuss? HQL, Hibernate query language. Okay. So then followed by the positional parameter. So then we'll discuss about the criteria API. Okay, it is similar to the HQL only. Criteria API. Then we'll discuss about the projections. We'll discuss the projections. Then we'll discuss about the native SQL, how to execute the native SQLs, and finally we'll discuss about the named queries. Finally, we'll discuss about the named queries and all. Okay, so these are things we're going to discuss as part of the HQL and all. And tomorrow we'll discuss about the relationships. So one to many, many to many, and all right. So there are four relations we'll discuss. Then followed by the caching mechanisms, and ORM we'll discuss. So let's start with this HQL. Okay. So what is the full form of the HQL? Hibernate query language. Okay, and it will be used for to perform bulk operation on the Hibernate programs. Okay, so this one here, see, HQL Hibernate query language. So easy to perform bulk operation on the Hibernate program. To perform bulk operations on Hibernate programs. Okay, so that you have to remember. This is the first point about the HQL here. Second point here. So in the case of HQL, okay, before this I want to take one example on the normal SQL, not HQL. So in the case of SQL, so what are the things we are going to take here? So table name we have to take, and then corresponding column names we have to take, right? For example, I want to get the data from the database table. Select a star from some table name employee. Instead of star, if I want to get the individual columns, okay, select the e name. Okay, so employee address from the employee. That means we'll use the table name and the column names in the SQL statement. But in the case of HQL, here instead of table we'll use the class name. And what about the columns? In the place of column names we have to use the property names, properties of the class here. So there is a difference between the HQL and SQL actually. Okay, so this is about the second point. Coming to the third point here, advantage here. This HQL is database independent. That means there, if we write any program using the HQL commands, then our program will be able to execute in all the database without doing any further changes to it. Okay, without modifying, so it will be executed in all databases because it is independent of the database. In any database, it will execute. Okay, so that is about the third point here. It is independent of databases, DBs, because we are using the class names and property names, not table names and column names. Okay, so that's why. So HQL is independent of any database, so we can run this HQL statements in any database perfectly. It will run here. Okay, so this is about the thing here. Coming to the next point here. Okay, so HQL is initially given for selecting object from the database initially. So they implement this HQL for selecting object from the database here. Okay, that is the initial case. Initially, HQL is used for selecting object from DB. But later, that means from Hibernate 3.0 version onwards, even we can use the DML operations like insert, updates, etc. Okay, like we can use the insert, update, DML operations we can use from the Hibernate 3.0 version onwards. but before that, so we have only selecting object from the DB. That you have to remember here. Okay, now next one here is I will give the syntax of this HQL. Okay, before I'll give the normal SQL, then followed by the HQL. Okay, so let's see here. For example, I want to get the total records from the database. Now in SQL, how to write the query here? Select star from table name. Let's take product. It is a table name. This product is a table name. Now same query I can write in the HQL. Listen carefully. These are difference here you can identify. Select. Okay, so P is a alias name from product here. Okay, product P I'm taking here. That means there is this product is a class name, not table name here. It is a class name. Okay, and P is a reference here. Or else what you can do is you can take like this. The select is the optional in the HQL from product to P. You can take from product to P. You can take here. This P is the reference variable, and product is the class name, not table name in the HQL. Okay, so there is a difference between the this statement. So for example, I want to get all the records from the database. In the HQL, we have to use this statement. Okay, this is about the thing here. For example, I want to get the so columns now, individual columns. Now in the SQL, what is the syntax? Select. Okay, so product ID, product name from table name. So this is about the product. Okay, so PID, PName is the column names and the product is the table here. Now same query I can write in the HQL like this here. Okay, so select. Okay, select P dot product ID. It is a property of the class. This P is a reference alias name. I will give the from keyword and comma P dot product name, property of the product class, where or not where we have to take the from and product P. So this product is a class and this product ID and product name are the properties of the product here, properties of the this product class here. So this is the alias name. By using the alias name I can get the properties like this here. Okay, that is the difference between the SQL and HQL. In the SQL, PID, PName are the columns of this table, but here product ID, product name are the properties of the or variables of the product class. P is a capital here, class it is. Okay, so that you have to remember here. Now, so by using the HQL, so I can perform three things actually. Okay, first one here is HQL. So first I want to load the complete object. That means total object I want to get here. That is the first one here is selecting total object, and the second one here is I want to get the partial object. That means more than one column. Selecting partial object, that means more than one column. This is the second. Next one is I want to get the only single column. So that is also possible in the HQL. So I will explain that one also. What is that one? So selecting, this is also partial object only, but only with single column. Here. Okay. So here total columns. That means here we are going to take more than one column. Here it is a single column. So we will take three examples for each and every one here. Okay. Now, so let's start with this selecting complete object from the database here. Okay. Now, so we have a project Hibernate demo here. So go to the test class. No need to take this one. See, we have a customer, right? Let's see. We have a customer, or let me check this one. We have a customer table, right? Yes. Now go to the, I'm creating one more class like test only. Copy, paste. Now I want to test the HQL. Test HQL I want to take here. Hibernate query language. Okay, finish. So one more class got created here. So take this one as it is up to session, copy paste here also. Okay, so already we have that one. Now remove this one here. Okay, I want to execute the HQL query now. Okay, so for that there is a method called create query. Okay, so I can take like string HQL equals to, I can take like pay from, or directly I can take from product P. Okay, so here product is a class. Instead of product we have a customer, right? We have a customer here. That's it here. Now see, so there is a method called session dot create query. I need to pass the HQL to the this parameter here. Now it will return the one query object. Okay, query object here. This one. We are retrieving the all the, okay, so all the objects from the database here. So there is a method called query dot list method. So it will return the list. That means this list contains the, all the objects now. Control Shift O I'm taking. Okay, this list contains the, all the objects from the database. Now how to iterate this list here? Okay, I want to iterate this list and I want to print the information, customer information here. So this is a core Java concept, collection framework. Okay, so here list dot, there is a method called iterator. So what it will return? It will return the iterator object. I'm taking the ITR. Okay, so next, so which one I have to use? We have to use the while loop. I want to check whether the next element is there in the list or not. So ITR dot, okay, here has next. If the element or if the object is there, it will return the true. Then I want to get the next ITR dot next object. So this method will return the object, but I want typecast to the customer. I want typecast to the customer here. Okay, so customer here also I'm taking the customer. Now, so I can print the customer name and all. System.println here. Customer dot get customer name. You can print all the properties and a customer number, and you can print the customer address. Okay, three properties I want. After printing all the things, just I want to take one stars here. For example, there are 3 records in the customer table, so 3 times this while loop will be executed. First of all, let me check how many records we have in the customer table. Okay, now see. Simple thing only. Okay, so we need to write the query here, and we need to pass that query to this create query method for the session. It will give the query. Then we have to call the list method, so that will give the list of objects from the database. Then we have to iterate and we have to print the information here. Click on SQL. So select star from customer. I'm taking run as Java application. Sorry, run this one. See, customer number, customer name, and customer address. We have a one record here. So I want to insert one more record here. Insert into customer values. Okay, so here 200 customer ID, and I'm taking the customer name equal to customer name 2, and address is equal to, you can take any name here. Okay, so addr 2 I'm taking. So just run this statement. One more record will be inserting into the customer table. Okay, one row created, inserted. Select a star from customer. So 2 records we have now. So I want to get these 2 records here. Now if you observe, so this is a customer is a class here. If you open this one, customer. Okay, so this customer here, customer is a class. Okay, that you have to remember here. I'm not taking the table name here. This customer is a class name. Now run this application, run as Java application. It's taking time. See this much of time it is taking to retrieve the two records. Okay, so that is about the Hibernate. Okay, no problem. See, Tata and 100 Hyderabad and customer to 200 and address to. So to improve the performance of the system, we have to use the caching mechanism. That's why this Hibernate provides the caching mechanism. If you use the caching mechanism, so the database results will get fast actually. Okay, that also we'll discuss later. So this is about we are getting all the records from the database. This is the first thing. If you open this one, so this was selecting total object from the database. That's why I'm printing all the properties like customer name and customer address and all. Now what I can do is, so I want to get two columns data, customer name and customer number. So for that, so what is the query here? Select. Okay, so I need to take the inst of p is the customer, right? I can take the c here, reference variable or alias name, c dot. Taking the customer, cust name. Cust name is the property of the customer Pojo, not column name. Next one is, okay, so cust number. I can take cust number here. That's it from the customer. See here. So same thing. We have to create a query and a list will return. And in this case, so it will not return the customer object. It will return the object array here. Object array. Okay. So this object array contains the two fields. That means two values. Okay. So first index contains the customer name. Second index contains the customer number here. Okay, now see this one. How can we print this one? Object. I can take it as a customer object obj. I can say array. Customer object array here. For each and every record, so one object array will be created with the two fields, with two indexes, with two size. Okay, so in the first index, customer name will be created, and so second index, that means 0 in the 0th position, customer name will be stored, and so first index customer number will be stored, and for second iteration also one more object array will be created. So in that, so customer name will be stored at the 0th position and customer number will be stored at the first position, and so in the similar way, so it will store the values here. Customer object array, right, of 0, it will store the number. In the same way, I want to get the 1 here. That's it here. So what is getting here? So first 0 contains the customer name. Second, this means first index contains the customer number. For the second object also same thing here. First 0 is contains the customer name and first index contains the customer number. If you see this one, we are getting only two more than one column. Run as Java application. See this one, data and 100. This is the first object array. From that we are printing. Similar way, second object array contains the customer to and this ID it is containing. Okay, so this is about the selecting the partial object more than one column. And I have requirement like, so I can get the partial object. I want to get the partial object, but I want to get the only single column. Okay, not more than one column. So in that case, what I have to do is I'm taking the c dot customer name. I don't want more than one column here. I want get only one single column. So in this case, it will return the object, but only one, right? So I can, that is a name is equal to string, right? Name equal to name is data type is a string. That's why directly I can typecast to this string here. So what is that one? Customer name. That's it. So generally, this next method will return the object, but I'm typecasting to the string because we have only single column. What is the column? What is the property? What is the property? It is customer name. What is the data for this property? String. That's why I want to typecast to this string here. That's it here. System.println here. Customer name. Okay. So run a Java application. See this one. So two customer names will be printed here. Tata and a customer to here. Okay, so this is about the third approach here. So these many ways we can. In the first case, so how to typecast it is, so directly I can typecast like this: customer cust is equal to customer. What is the one? Next one here, itr dot next. So in this we have to take. What about the second partial object here? We have typecast like this: object array arr. Okay, I'm typecast to the object array only, and here so itr dot next. This is about the second one here. Coming to the third one. So for example, we are returning the only string, or if you are getting the integer, then you have to typecast to the integer. So presently I'm getting the string name. Now here string name equal to, I want typecast to the string. Okay, itr dot next. That's it here. Okay, this is about the HQL. Okay, for getting the data from the database and all. So clear everyone? Any doubts? Okay. Next one here is.
Yes, sir.
Next one here is. So I want pass the runtime values. Okay, passing runtime values. That is the second topic here. See. How many ways we can use this one? How many ways we can implement? I can say passing runtime values. There are two ways: by using the label name. By using the label name, I'll give the example. And next one is by using the question mark here. By using the question mark, just like a prepared statement. Okay, now see this one. So I want pass the data to this query here. Select C customer name from the customer C, where C dot customer number equals to, I can take the label like this one, number. So this is about the label. I need to pass the data to this label like question mark. Okay, in the case of prepared statement, we have to provide the question marks, right? Here, instead of question marks, we can give the label names also. For that label name, I want to set the data now, because we have to set the data, right? So for which customer number, we have to get the customer name. Okay, so how can we set this name? So here, after giving that query to this create query method, so there is a method called query dot set parameter. Okay, so here number is the label name, and what is the argument you are going to take here? If you see this one, I want to get the, so this 200, then I can get the 200 here. I can give the provide the 200, then so 200 record customer name only will be printed here. So these are the label. That means we are passing the, so this values at runtime. Now see this one, run as Java application. So what is the name? Customer 2 we are getting here. Okay, and what is the second way here? By in the question mark also we can provide here. So take this example, same thing. So colon number, I'm replacing the question mark here. Now instead of this number, I can provide the, so index. Okay, that position parameter. For example, there are 3 question marks. Then okay, it is we have only one, right? That's why I'm taking the 0. For example, we have 2. Then first question mark should take the 0, and second question mark should take the 1 here. Okay, that you have to remember here. So this is about the question mark here. By in the question mark also we can pause the runtime values like this. That means how many ways? There are 2 ways. First one is a label. Second one is a question mark here. Now see this one. Run as Java application. So customer 2 should get actually. Okay. Now see. So not only selecting, okay, customer 2, not only selecting, we can use the update delete also. For example, I'm taking the delete here. Okay, delete from customer C, where C is equal to customer number here. Okay, that means customer 2 will be deleted from the database here. Now, so we should not use this one now. Okay, so we should not use this list. List means for selecting. Okay, this delete and insert update, we have to use it for, we have, there is a separate method called execute update here. Okay, just I want to comment this one here. So there is a method called query dot, for non-selected statements you have to take the execute update, for selected statement you have to take the list. Okay, so it will return the some number actually, enter result, how many records will be deleted. Okay, so system.out.println here, number of objects deleted. Okay, so plus I want to write the result here. In this case, how many objects will be deleted here? So for we have in the database, we have only one record with the 200 okay, customer number. That's why one object will be deleted from the database. Run as Java application. See this one, number of objects deleted one here. So Hibernate is generating one query called select from customer where C number equal to question mark here. So go and check in the database. Now we have only one record. The 200 record got deleted here due to that this one. Okay, so even we can perform the update operation also just like a prepared statement, but we need to provide the that values here. Okay, so this is about the pausing. Okay, so runtime values to the query by using the label and by using the question mark here. Next one here we have a criterion API. Okay, criterion API. If you observe in the HQL, so we are writing the query. Okay, and we are performing the select, insert, update and all. But in the criterion API, we can select we can only select the data, that's it. We cannot perform the update and okay, delete. Even we can perform, we can get the partial object also. In order to get the partial object, we have to use the projections. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is simple. Next one is the criteria API. Okay, so in this case what will happen, so this criteria is only for selecting, okay, selecting data from DB. Okay, that too we can select complete object. Okay, so we can get the complete object. Okay, now but I have a requirement, I want to get the partial object. Then so for partial object, okay, we have to mix with projections plus criteria will provide the partial object. I will give the example for each and every one, so not a problem for that one. Okay, and we cannot perform non-select operations using this criteria. Okay, so this is about it, you have to remember here. And criteria is suitable for executing dynamic queries too. Okay, so here in the case of HQL, we can perform select as well as a non-select statements, but in the criteria API we can select only data, that's it. We cannot perform the non-select statements. One more thing here is, so we can get the complete object, but I want to partial object, we have to perform the, we can mix the projections with the criteria or criteria with the projections. Okay, now so how can we execute this criteria queries here? Simple only. I am removing this one, query is not required for us. Internally the Hibernate will generate the query for us. Now so remove this one. So this also I'm uncommenting, same thing we can get actually commenting here. So here instead of HQL, what I can do is I can take the employee, we have a customer, right? Customer dot class, so that it will give the all the data from the database here. So instead of create query, we have a create criteria here, that's it here. So it will return the criteria object, not query object. I'm taking the CTR criteria. Now instead of query dot list, we have to use the criteria dot list here. And here, so we need to perform the, so all the data we are getting, that means all the objects data we are getting. Okay, so just like a first concept of the HQL. So here and take the what customer, we need to typeface the customer here. Okay, it is a customer here. Now I want to print the customer name as well as the customer address. Customer address I want to print. Similarly, I want to print the customer name, then I want to print the customer number, because it is giving the all the data. Okay, now see this one. So this customer dot class means it will give the all the data from the database. For example, there are two records, then two times this while loop will be executed here. What is meaning of this one? So it has to get the, it will get the data from the database, all the data, all records data. Okay, now see this one, run this application, run as Java application here. So presently we have, it seems only one record. Okay, so Hyderabad data and 100 we are getting here. So I want insert one more record. Let's see how it will be taking this one. So go to this one. Already we have a query. Run this one. Now we have a 2 rows in the customer table. Now I want to run this program one more time. In this case, so 2 times the while loop will be executed because the list size is 2 actually, because there are 2 records. Now I want to iterate and I just typecast based on the partial or complete object, then I can print that one. That's it. It is about the, so selecting complete object actually. I will give the partial object also. Before that I will give one more important point here. So here is, so Hyderabad data and address to customer 2 we are getting here. Here we are getting the complete object. I want to get the partial object. I will explain. So after taking one more example. Now my question here is, so I want to perform the restrictions or conditions. I want to get the all the customers from the database, but so where customer number so less than 100 or greater than 100 like that. I need to perform some conditions or adding conditions to the criteria. How to add the conditions to criteria? But in the case of HQL, directly we can add where customer number equal to so 200 like that. But in this case, how can we add the conditions? Okay, for that we have to use the, okay, so here restrictions. Okay, see this one, restrictions we have to restrictions dot, there is a method called greater than. G means greater than or equal to, gt means greater than here. Now what is the property? Customer number, what is the value? Now this one I'm taking the 100 or something here. That means, so whose customer number greater than 100 only, it will print the, it will give the objects here. Okay, restrictions are, then it will return the one criterion, not criteria, it will return the criterion, this one. Okay, C1 I'm taking here. Now I need to add this criterion to the criteria above one. I need to add the C1 to the CTR so that it will apply the condition to that criteria. CTR dot add of the C1. Okay, so how it will generate the things here? Now see, so select star from customer where customer number greater than 100. How many records we have greater than 100? Only one record, there is a 200, it will be printed here. 200 record will be printed on the console here. Okay, in this way, so we can add the restrictions greater than or equal to, less than or equal to we have. Okay, so run as Java application. Second record should be displayed for us, not first record. So this is about the conditions. We can add the conditions also for the criteria by using this one here. Okay, so next one here is, give a minute, just I'm getting one call. Okay, so here what we are getting here, so we are getting the customers where customer number greater than 100 here. That's why we are getting the, so only one record here, 200 record. Okay, so in this way we can add the restrictions or conditions to the criterion API. Next one here is, so I want to get the partial object. Partial object means, so if you observe this database table is having the 3 columns, but I want to get the 1 or 2 columns here. So how can you do this one? So for that we have to use the projections. I told you right here. So we have to use the projections plus criteria so that we can get the partial object here. So how to add the projections to the criteria? Now see this one simple. So this condition I'm removing. If you add also not a problem, just I want to remove this one here. Here criteria ctr dot, there is a method called set projection. So there is a class called projections dot property. Okay, so property, that means this property value only we are going to get. For example, I'm taking the customer name only. Okay, so in this way we can get the things here. That means, so here what is the query? It will generate in the backend, select a customer name from customer table. Okay, for customer table here. So but here customer name is the property, not column name. You have to take property, it is not column. Okay, now run this application here. So we're adding the only column one. So later we'll discuss about the adding more than one column here. Okay, so that is also possible. Some exception, class cast exception. Okay, so string cannot be cast to the jar. So here we are getting the only customer name, right? Okay, now the customer doesn't return, actually only string return. Object is not returning, only one column is returning, that is the only string only. Here customer name here. I can print here customer name like this. I can print. Now this one. So in the database there are two records, so that two customer names will be printed here. Run as Java application. Complete object means we have to typecaste the customer, but here we are not getting the complete object, right? Partial object, only single column, that to string only. See, data and customer 2 are getting here. If you add to the conditions, previous condition, we get only second record, that is the customer 2 only. Okay, so this is a way of adding the projection. Now what I can do is I want to get the another. So instead of customer name, I want to get the customer number also. Both values I can get here. Then instead of typecasting the string, we have to use the object array, right? Now I don't want to use that one. Now see, what is the output we are going to get here? So it should generally get the customer name and customer number. Now see this one. Run as Java application, we will get the only customer number, not customer name here. Some exception again, it will is integer, it seems. Second cannot be cast to the integer here. See, I will tell you why I am taking like this. Integer I am taking, and here integer customer number it is, not name. Okay, that means the first projection is not taking, only second projection is taking actually. That means, so in this case what will happen, second projection overrides the first one. Okay, I mean, so this projection P2, let's assume this is the second one is a P2. Okay, so this P2 only work, P1 will not work actually. Okay, so that you have to remember. Now, so I want to get the two records, like two columns, customer name and customer number. Then how can we access? So before that, I want to run this application. We'll get the only customer number only. That means second one will be overriding that first one. Customer name we should not get here, only customer name here. See, customer number 100 to 100. What about the customer name then? So here, so this second one is overrides the first one, but I want to get the two things here. So for that, what I have to do here is simple. Okay, so remove this one here. For that, we have to create one list. For that list, we need to add these projection property names here. Instead of adding directly, we have to take the list. For that list, we have to add those two projections and add it to the criteria. How can you do this one? So there is a projection list. We have list one. I'm taking p list projection list equals to. So there is a projections dot, there is a method called projection list here. Now, so I want to add like this p list dot add of, that is a list, right? Add of. Now I need to add the projection property. So for that we have a projections dot property of, here we have a customer number I'm taking here. Customer number I'm taking here. In the same way, for that list, I want to add one more column, that is the customer name here. finally what I can do is I want to add this projection list to the criteria. So ctr dot, okay, set, there is a method called set projection, that like a list I can add. Now in this case, so two columns data will going to be partial object with the two columns. Now here we need to add the object array, here also object array. So two indexes will be created. In the first index customer number will be created, and second index it will store the customer name here. Okay, now object, so array of 0, then is customer number it will print, array of 0 customer number, and second one is print the customer name will be print here. Okay, so in this way we can do this one. Run as Java application here. Simple here. So customer number and customer name is printing here. Okay, so this is about the simple thing here. That's it. This is about the, okay, so projections and all. So clear everyone? Are you getting the things, or are you confusing? So getting the things or not, everyone?
Clear, sir.
Okay, fine. So that means what I discussed I will explain one more time here. Simple. So I took the HQL, and after that, so passing runtime values. How can we pass the runtime values? By using the two things. First one is a label, second one is a question mark here, that I discussed. After that we discuss about the criteria. Okay, so instead of writing the query we have to use the classes. Okay, so how to add the conditions? For that we have restrictions. Restrictions that so greater than or all for adding the conditions. Okay, I want to get the partial object, then we have to use the projections plus criteria. So this is about the thing here. And from the HQL we can get the three things: partial object with one column, partial object with more than one column, and a complete object. But in the case of criteria, we'll get the complete object. If we want to get the partial object, we have to add that criteria to the projection so that we can get the, okay, partial object here. And if we want to add the conditions to the criteria, we have to use the restrictions class. This HQL is used for only HQL is used for selecting queries, select queries as well as non-select queries. But criteria only we can use it for only select statements. So there is a difference between the HQL and the criteria. Okay, so that's it. So there is our HQL as well as the criteria. And one more thing here is, so I have a requirement like I want to execute our native SQL statements like normal JDBC queries. Okay, what I'm trying here is, so I want to execute. Okay, I want to execute the normal native SQL statements here. In this case, what I have to do? Same thing here. So instead of this criteria, create criteria, we have to use the some other concept here. Say this one, removing this one here. Now I want to write normal SQL statement, our JDBC SQL statement. Okay, select star from. Now I'm using the star. Select the star from. Customer is a table name. I'm not using the Pojo or any class name. Now I want to pass this SQL to the one method, create SQL query method, session dot create SQL query here. I need to pass the SQL here. So it is generating the one SQL query object. In the HQL only query we will get, but in the SQL we are getting the SQL query. So this is a QRY. Now I need to call the same list method only, like this. Okay. Now here this array contains all the customer objects here, and 0, 1 and 2 also it contains all the data we are going to get here. Okay. So if you may get doubt actually. See, so if whenever we are getting the complete object, generally we have to typecast to the customer directly, but I am taking the object array. Okay, that means this Hibernate doesn't know. Okay, so which column mapping to the, so which property of the class here. That's why it will give the object array. It is a table name, not class name. That's why we have to typecast to the object array, not customer directly. Okay, now run this one here. Run a Java application. Remaining thing is same, just the query methods as well as this typecasting is different. So total records we are going to get 100 data Hyderabad and 200 customer to address to here. Now what I can do is I want to get the, instead of this typecast to the object array. I want typecast to the only customer. In that case, what I have to do here is, so after taking this query, now we need to add the entity, add entity. For that, we have to use the customer class. Then now we can directly typecast to the customer. That means it will map to the particular properties here, customer, and here customer I can take here. Now, so it is a customer. So by the customer, I can print the information, right? So if we want typecast the customer, we have to add one more method called add entity in the case of native SQLs. But in the case of HQL and criteria API, not required. By default, it will be the complete object so that we can typecast to the customer. But in the case of native SQL, so we have called other extra method, and here we have to typecast the customer. System.println customer dot get number, customer number, and taking the customer name, and finally we have customer address. Perfectly valid. Run as Java application, control F11. See this one. So this is about the native SQL statements here. And one more topic left with the our this HQL and all. So there's a named queries. Okay, so named queries we'll discuss tomorrow that one. So tomorrow we'll say named queries. Next we'll start the relationships. Tomorrow we'll finish that one. And so this Sunday I may take the class. Okay, so there may be a chance of taking the class in the, on Sunday. Okay, so tomorrow we'll decide that one whether we need to take the class or not. Okay, so clear guys, any doubts in this case?
Sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tomorrow we'll finish the relationships, and then after that we'll caching mechanism. Let's see. So it will take three days max, 3 days to complete the syllabus. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Only Hibernate